If there's anything more creepy than a dead bride? I think not. Stories about these unfortunate people can be found in any country. A road in the state of Pennsylvania. There is also a railway bridge over the river. There are many legends associated with this place. The locals claim that if you come to this place, turn off the engine, put the keys on the roof of the car and wait a little, then you will be able to see in the rearview mirror the so-called ghost of the one who screams. Most of the stories boil down to the fact that these are the ghosts of a woman who was abandoned right at the altar, and who then committed suicide at this place. They also say that after jumping off the bridge, she let out a piercing scream. Another version features a creature with webbed feet, large claws and a huge head. Maybe someone should ask this dead bride what really happened when she gets in the back seat. This story began with a tombstone, which was located in the center of the Cemetery of Two in Salt Lake City, Utah. It belongs to a woman named Lillian, who died in the 50s of the last century at the age of 77. At first glance, this difficult slab is no different from the others, until you come across the inscription Sacrifice of the Beast 666. Now it's alarming. What can this mysterious inscription mean? Maybe this is a kind of accusation of the believers of one of the most religious cities in the country. Could she have been sacrificed for satanic cults? Maybe she worshipped the devil herself, or she was the victim of a witch hunt. But all these are just rumors that intrigued residents came up with to explain it. Golden Gate Park in San Francisco is known for its paranormal stories. According to the locals, it is teeming with spirits, and you risk bumping into one of them during a yoga class. This park might as well be called the Undead Park. But one ghost story was particularly popular. It was published in the San Francisco Chronicles on January 6 in 1908. This is the story of the bringing of Stowe Lake. The newspaper publication began with the name of Arthur Pigeon. He was driving along the road, slightly speeding. He was stopped by a policeman. Arthur said it wasn't his fault. He had to drive fast to leave the lake as soon as possible. He saw his wife's ghost. She had long blonde hair and no shoes on her feet. Legends say that she was a mother who lost her child or even killed, and then committed suicide. A popular bar in Kentucky. The owner of this place is country singer Bobby Mackey. 3 legends are associated with this place, which have become so popular that the building is put up for sale. First, there are the gates of hell that allow demons to enter our world. It is not yet clear why they come. Maybe they really like country music or beer. As for the other 2 stories, they are more traditional. The first is the Oprah Brain, a real-life pregnant woman who was found decapitated at the end of the 19th century. Her lover Scott Jackson and his friend Alonzo Walling were hanged for her murder. The second legend is the legend of a woman named Joanna, who is said to have fallen in love with a singer at a club. Her enraged father allegedly hanged her lover in the locker room, which caused Joan to commit suicide by poisoning. Bobby McKay wrote a song about this incident, which suggests that the girl is still stalking him in this bar. In Houston, Texas, many urban legends are associated with the memory of the Civil War. One of the most eerie is connected with Patterson Road, which is located next to Highway No. 6. All the locals agree in one thing, that the ghosts that lived there were soldiers of the Civil War. Those who believe in this say that if you come to Patterson Road at night and turn off the lights, you will hear tapping or the car will sink into the fog. More skeptically, locals note that parking a car with the lights off on a busy bridge will be a good opportunity to become a ghost yourself. Many stories are often invented by adults to scare children when they behave badly. Anyone who grew up in a Mexican family is familiar with this method of parenting and, perhaps, many are still afraid. The Golden Devil. The Evil Man. The stories seem to have been invented by goofy older brothers who are always trying to scare the younger ones. For example, a story about a goat man in Belle, Marion. There is no official version of this legend, but most claim that a scientist from the Beltva Agricultural Research Center conducted experiments on goats, and this somehow led to the fact that he himself partially became a goat. In the 30s of the 18th century, emigrants in Frederick County, Maryland, claimed to have stumbled upon a terrible creature. Soon, having founded a city on this place, residents began to report their observations of the beast, which was half bird, half reptile with a metal beak and razor-sharp teeth. He also had octopus tentacles, with which he captured people and carried them away with him to feed his cubs. The plot of this story has acquired new details. This is probably the only story from this list that is connected with a real person, with really terrible details. In the area of Chapel, Pennsylvania, you can easily meet a terribly disfigured person who wandered through the dark streets at night. He was nicknamed Charlie without a face or the Green Man, and everyone has their own story of meeting him. It's all because he really existed. Raymond Robinson, born in 1910 year, at the age of 8, tried to look into a bird's nest on the bridge, but there was an accident. He touched a power line that electrocuted him, which caused terrible facial injuries that remained forever. As it happens, such an appearance caused people to panic, children began to cry. Therefore, for almost all 74 years, Robinson hid from people at home, and went out for a walk at night. He became a living legend, and some people even went out for a ride at night to get at least one eye on him. Arkansas State. Another place full of ghost stories. Most houses have their own history, and to stand out from this crowd, you need to try very hard. So, the story has a place to be. The Legend of the Boy Dog. In 1954, Floyd and Ellen Bettis had a son, Gerald. By the way, this house is called the Bettison House. Those who knew him in his youth claim that he caught dogs and cats, kept them at home, mercilessly tortured and killed. But what he is really known for is that he kept his parents imprisoned in the attic for many years. He was arrested after his father died. Gerald himself died in prison from a drug overdose. Since then, people have claimed that paranormal phenomena occur in their house. Flickering lights, strange sounds, and moving objects. Given that Gerald threw his father out of the window, it seems unsurprising that there is a ghost there. The famous California urban legend originates from the Ojai Valley, Camp Park. They say that the spirits of a man who burned alive live there, and now he suddenly appeared from the forest and attacks cars and tourists. He is called a man-oaf. There are several versions of the origin of the free man, but they all begin with forest fires that occurred in the park in 1948. The main version is that the father and son were hostages of the fire. The father died in the fire, and the son survived. When the rescue team arrived at the scene, they found that the son had suspended his father and pulled off his skin. At the sight of the firefighters, the son disappeared into the forest. Another story tells about a married couple who also became a victim of a fire, and tells us that a young man also fell into the power of fire, suffered very badly and also went crazy, because he could not help his wife, who was screaming for help. And anyway, as usual, people say, if you come to this park, stop on the bridge and get out of the car, the coal man will come out to you. A terribly burned person will stumble upon you and try to peel off your skin.